Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Connor Williams and you're back watching Wrestle Rap. That's right, we're back. I know it's been a long time, just other things. This wasn't really gaining much attention. I've gone to a different, one of my other YouTube channels, learn a bit more about the content, how titles and YouTube algorithm works, a little bit, not an expert. And hopefully I'm going to go again with this and see if this will work. We are back with the TLC reactions. That's right, TLC React. It was last night. I watched it this morning, or I watched highlights of it. On the whole, it was an alright pay-per-view, but we'll get into that just now. So kicking off the match, we had the WWE title match, which I was quite shocked this was the opener, in all honesty. I guess they thought start strong. The match was good. It took a while. It was a bit too long for me to start with. I know they're gimmick matches, and you get this divide of people don't want too much gimmick stuff, but then this felt like not enough. You didn't need to have it as a TLC match because they wrestled for about what felt like 20 minutes before a ladder was even introduced. It was a good match though. Obviously Drew's a good performer, AJ's phenomenal, pardon the pun. And then as it comes to it, they're both out. AJ's really hurt Drew's leg, which we saw him hint at with Sheamus on Raw. He seems to be, for the calf crusher, which is ring psychology, fantastic. Lesson 101 there with AJ Styles. And then The Miz comes out with John Morrison, and he nearly goes to win the match, and AJ's henchman, who I cannot remember the name of, picks Miz up, carries him like a baby, and then literally just it's not an impressive throw, I wouldn't even say throw, he drops him from outside in the ring, outside through a table. Then John Morrison hits him with a chair, the chair snaps, he goes and chases John Morrison off. Then you've got all three of them fighting again. The ball on top of the ladder. At one point, AJ is knocked off. It's just Drew and Miz. He claymores the Miz. Drew climbs up and Drew's victorious. The match for myself, I thought was okay. Probably give it a B. It was good. It was good in aspects. It wasn't very spot heavy, I thought, but depending on how you view TLC, it's a one in a year type thing. I'd quite like to see a bit more spots, to be honest. But you might be one of those who think, no, there's too many spots. Wrestling's all spots nowadays. I want wrestling. Which in that case, you might have liked it a little bit more than me. I don't get it also came down in my estimate because I don't think there was any need for The Miz to, just it feels dumb. Why would you do it midway through? Why wouldn't you wait till the grueling match is over and then do it? Or like Seth Rollins, where he did it too early, I thought, mainly, but it worked for him. But you do it when they're done, when they're battered. If you did it for Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, which we'll get to later on, that would have made more sense because they were really battered at this point. But they were both men were still in it at this point. There was nothing bad happen. It's not like you saw both men scatter through 4 tables, like we have done in the past. We've seen men scatter through a bunch of tables. That's a good time to do it. I know it looked opportunistic, but it wasn't that good of an opportunity. Also, it's the whole planning of the Money in the Bank. Since it was won, they've not had a clue where they're going. They jumped it on Otis because he was hot with Mandy Rose, and they sacked the main writer of the storyline, and they realised it's not a hot thing anymore. And even if it was a hot gimmick. It wasn't a hot main event. But Vince, Pritchard, all of them, they know best. They put it on Otis, realised he's not main event material. He's now recently been sent back to the PC Performance Training Centre, apparently, because of his weight, along with a couple of other big men. Vince again. But yeah, and then they give it The Miz, and you're like, oh, well, I personally think it should have gone to John Morrison, but we move. And then for it to just end in a fizzle like this, it was like, what was the point? I love the Money in the Bank. I think it's such a clever gimmick. You never know where or when it's going to happen. It's really exciting. I loved it growing up. I loved it. I remember nearly being in tears when Edge did it to John Cena and then did it to The Undertaker a couple of years later. It's so good. How can they wreck something so good? At this point, if you've got no plans for it, just don't have it that year. And I'd rather that and it come back a year later with real planning and real intent that will keep me entertained. Then you do this and it fizzle out. They've been doing this the last couple of years. You either win it and cash it in relatively straight away, or you lose it, or you cash it in and fail to. Gone are the days. I swear Edge had his for nearly the full year. He had it for a while. He cashed in on New Year's resolution. Mania's normally in March. He held it for about 9 months or 10 months. That's impressive. Because the whole time you thought, you know, oh my god. And he was more than that. He was Mr. Money in the Bank, but he had rivalries apart from that. He got his briefcase design. Gone are those now. We've got the horrible red and blue and stuff, and the red and green and white. Bring back the custom designs. This just, the Money in the Bank is a whole different story. It's a whole different rant from me. I'm just disappointed that it ended like that. I'd rather the Miz have won it or something, but not now. I don't think it was now was the right time. Just plan it properly. Plan it properly. It's such a good idea that's failed. But anyway, yeah, I gave this match a B. I thought it was alright. It's about a 7 out of 10. And that was all I really had to say about it. It was alright. Next we move into Carmella versus Sasha Banks. Carmella returned, started attacking Sasha for the last 2 weeks on SmackDown. If you've watched it, she's hit her with a champagne bottle on the back. Yeah, this rivalry was a bit of a meh to me. I wasn't overly invested in it, but watched it nonetheless. This match was good. It was good. It was okay. It was C, 6 out of 10. Yeah, it was okay. It was good. Sasha Banks is an incredible performer. Carmella is getting a lot better than when I first remember her wrestling. She's a lot better now. She's very athletic. I tell you what, she'd be hell on earth to play a game of Twister with. Like the submission move where she holds her calves, and like she's got incredible core strength. I'll give her that. And she's very, very athletic, which is two of the main things about being a wrestler, really. But yeah, it ends with her putting Sasha Banks in a submission. Sasha rolls into the crossface, and Carmella taps. I thought this was the right thing to do. Don't move the title off from Sasha yet. I still believe there's Bayley coming back into the fold for a title again. I still believe and hope, because that's a rivalry we all want to see more of. But yeah, I thought I think it was the right decision. The right person won. Carmella was a bit too fresh from returning as well, in all honesty. So yeah, not much I can really say about this one. Sorry, guys. Next, we had the Hurt Business versus the New Day. We'd seen this rivalry a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. And this match was really good. I really like the Hurt Business. I think they're good. I think they're fresh. I think they're money. I think MVP's a fantastic mouthpiece. He was fantastic when he used to wrestle on the mic, but he's fantastic as a mouthpiece. And they've got such a good array of talent. They've got Bobby Lashley, who is probably the veteran other than MVP. He's probably the veteran in that group and the muscle. Then you've got Cedric, who is such a good, talented wrestler. He's the future. And then you've got Shelton Benjamin again. He's probably the veteran, so it's probably like 3 veterans grizzling for Cedric, but they're fantastic. Shelton Benjamin was always underrated, I thought. What he can do in the ring compared to the accolades he won, I don't think equalled out very fairly. But yeah, so this match started. It was fantastic, pace to pace. The New Day keep pace with them really, really well. Kofi and Xavier are really good. You see Shelton take the lead, basically dominate for a bit. He does the hip toss off the top rope. Then Cedric tags himself in out of nowhere. Lumbar checks Xavier and gets the pin. Teased a bit of tension, I think that is. Is that not a bit of tension teasing? Somebody tagging themselves in to get the win? Maybe. But then they celebrate with Bobby Lashley at the end to show that they are a core unit. This match, again, I gave a 7. I thought it was very good. I thought the right people won again. I thought the New Day had gone a bit, not stale, but they've held the belts a little too long now. It's good to have a fresh face, and if you don't have the Hurt Business win, you're then stuck in what do you do with them. A bit like Retribution now, what do you do with them? Because they're not winning titles, they're not even dominating anymore. What do you do with them? They've gone off the boil. They'll be gone by next week though. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. The right people won. MVP, the Hurt Business, all the money. Next we have Charlotte Flair returning. Yes, that's fantastic news. She's really been missed in this women's division. She returns as Asuka's tag team partner, and they beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Fantastic. I feel a bit sorry for Lana because this would have been her only chance to hold the title. I don't think they ever penciled her in to win it though. I think they always knew Charlotte was returning. She put her Twitter up about a week ago. And she looked in incredible shape. And she came back last night, was in incredible shape. She was fantastic. She won with natural selection, which is a fantastic finishing move. It's like an RKO type flip over. Fantastic. I think, again, the right people won. Obviously, this does lead to, if anything, the tag team partners like Shawn Michaels and John Cena back in 06, 07, was it, or 08? Where the build up to WrestleMania 23, where there were tag team titles, but one of them was a world champion and one wanted what the other had. I think Charlotte's going to want the title, and I have a feeling WWE will be very raring to put her on the world title again, which you've got to be careful of, because the reason fans turned in the first place was they thought, oh, she's, being pushed to the hills. So, it's got to be a bit careful. But then, who do you have to compete with Asuka? Because she is on here. The rest of the women's locker room at the minute are here, and Charlotte just is there. You've got two main eventers, neck and neck, and the rest are all here. Shayna is Nia, Lana. Yeah. See what I mean? Like, Dana Brooke's good, but clearly they don't rate. Mandy Sachs is good, but they're a tag team now. So yeah, I thought the right people won. I think this leads on to a very exciting rivalry in the future between Asuka and Charlotte, and it's good to see the Queen back. Really good to see her back. She looked phenomenal. She wrestled well. Thumbs up. Well done. Next we have Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. This was one of the two main event matches that I was really looking forward to tonight. KO is fantastic. Reigns is a different man since coming back. I can't get over his teeth. I do think they look slightly weird in his mouth because they're very white and very perfect, and I don't think they suit his jaw. But that's a whole different. Leave his teeth alone. Yeah, really good. Roman Reigns won. Not a shock. I didn't think KO was ever going to beat him, but it looked like he would a couple of times, and I thought, because you never know with WWE, you never know. I think they'll have Reigns till Mania, because they want The Rock, don't they? And if they don't want The Rock, apparently they want Goldberg, which again, it's a whole bad idea waiting to happen. Didn't learn anything from last year's Mania, but we move. Didn't learn anything from The Fiend, but we move. Stop putting Goldberg in the main events. Nobody wants him anymore. He was good in the 80s and the 90s. He's just not a draw anymore. But anyway, yeah, so Reigns won. Kevin Owens came close a couple of times. Jey Uso interference. He interferes. Kevin Owens starts really strong. Batters Roman. Jey Uso interferes. Hits Jey Uso's at the head with a chair. Stamps on the chair while his leg's in it. It looked really brutal. Kevin Owens looked like he was a man who came with some vengeance, some real intent. He came really, really close. A pop-up powerbomb to Jey Uso through the announce table, then through Roman Reigns through a normal table. Nice to see the pop-up powerbomb back. I personally prefer it to the stunner. The stunner was always, I don't know, it's always Stone Cold's. I wouldn't mind it as his signature, but as his finisher, bring back the pop-up powerbomb. That was fantastic, seeing him do that. I guess the argument is he couldn't do it to big men, but that's what you got a stunner for. Bring them back, but like, if he can, have him finish with the pop-up powerbomb. But yeah, he goes to get on. Jey Uso interferes again. Reigns was really good here. He spears him through a table. He misses the barricade and spears the barricade while it's empty. That looks really brutal. Apparently Reigns has got an injury. I've yet to see if it's true. I certainly hope not, because he's probably the most entertaining he's ever been, in my opinion, since he was in the Shield. The whole big dog I hated. I thought it was, rocket up your backside. He swore then. But now he's a bad guy, and I do like Jey Uso as well. I really did think maybe Jey Uso should have beat Roman just for a feel-good moment, but this still could happen down the line, and I think it'd be a good feel-good moment. But Reigns is such a bad guy that you gotta like him. He's like the anti-hero that WWE were missing. Kevin Owens, when he was a heel, was a good anti-hero at one point. When he came up and beat John Cena, that was good. But Roman Reigns is the guy that you don't want to mess with now instead of the guy. I gave this an 8 or a 9. No, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was really, really exciting. It was spot heavy, but I like that, as I admitted in the first one. I thought the first one I didn't have enough spots. Really enjoyed this match. And next we have the final match, and God, if I like spots, this was a spot match for the ages. The whole thing was a gimmicky spot match. It was Bray Wyatt versus, The Fiend versus Randy Orton in an Inferno match, but you've got to actually set your opponent on fire to win. I preferred this to the actual old Inferno where you throw them over the top rope and they go on fire. I thought this was really, really good. It looked real and scary, and it looked like WWE were taking it away from the PG a bit. There's rumours that USA are upset and they want more dark adult themes. Hopefully not too dark, because we've all seen what happens in Vince McMahon's head when he goes dark. But this type of stuff, like real gritty, like Bray Wyatt could be a horror film director. I don't think he if he ever was bored of wrestling, he could go make wonderful horror films. The man is a genius, and he has such a creative input that you know it's all him. And the Fiend is so big. WWE do try their best to mess him up, and with Goldberg, and they can't because he's so good. But yeah, this match was fantastic. Randy Orton ended up the winner, which, you know, there was a couple of times where the Fiend was actually lit on fire at one point, Bray Wyatt, and he's still going. He runs into the ring, and Randy Orton RKO's him, and the Fiend stays down, which we're not used to. He's normally a no-seller, and that's the whole point of the Fiend. How'd you beat him? He's a no-seller. Even with Goldberg, when he has been beat clean, he doesn't stay down. Randy Orton, though, covers him in gasoline. Lights a dummy on fire. The change between Bray Wyatt and the dummy is very obvious when you know what you're looking for. I don't know how they did it on the live thing for people watching. I don't know. I don't know how they've got that round. But for you on the telly, you could see it. But they were obviously never going to set a real man on fire. So, but it was good, and there was a lot of symbolicness. Like Bray lights the chair, puts Randy in it, the rocking chair, and lights it. You know, from when Randy burnt down the house. It's stuff like that. Bray Wyatt's so clever as well. It's not just that he's good creatively and can put a match. He's so clever. The whole Firefly Funhouse is full of Easter eggs. He never forgets anything he's done in his career. He's not one of those wrestlers who will, like Kofi Kingston, sometimes mentions that he used to have a Jamaican accent. He doesn't forget, and neither does the Fiend. The Fiend never, Bray Wyatt never forgets anything he's done in his career, to the smallest detail, and that alone makes me think the man's a main eventer. But for this one, I did give it an 8. It kept me intrigued. I don't know if the right person won. You could tell Randy was never going to lose, though, because he came in a hoodie and was topless underneath. I don't know why I didn't just take it off. But you knew he wasn't going to get set on fire, because they're not going to set a man in a hoodie. Whereas Bray Wyatt wrestled in a leather jacket, so you knew Bray Wyatt would at least get caught in the fire, because leather would be a bit more resistant than, whatever hoodie Randy Orton decides to wear to the ring. Don't know if the right guy won. Maybe the Fiend is going to come back as something better. Bray Wyatt did put a cocoon on his tweet saying thank you. Maybe he'll evolve to something scarier. We do have Alexa Bliss coming back into the fold. I don't know why she's been off, but she has been missed. We'll have to wait and see till tonight on Monday Night Raw. But yeah, this has been my Wrestle Rap review. Hopefully this video does a bit better in terms of engagement. I know I've read up, done some stuff, got some software called TubeBuddy. I'm hoping to learn how to crack YouTube, really. So don't forget to like, guys, subscribe to the channel if you like wrestling, and comment if you want, if you disagree with anything, if you don't agree. Just let me have it. Let me have it. I'm a big lad. I'm 23. I can handle a bit of comments, if you disagree. And I'm a grown man. If you say, I think Randy should have won, and you give good points, I'm not an idiot. I'll go, yeah, no, you're fair. I was wrong, sorry. You know what I mean? Let me know. I just want it to be engaging. I want us to be doing well. And I'm not going to lie to you, it really helps boost me up the algorithm. So, but yeah, guys, peace out. Hope you enjoyed.